everyone. This is Planckera, and my mouth's not doing a thing. There we go. And welcome to my universe. Today, I have to deal with the horror in her eyes at the moment. And I'm a little scared. Oh man, it's like I started working on her eyes and everything was going great, and then suddenly this happened and she just looks incredibly cross-eyed and I don't know why. So, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to start paring back all the detail. Just all of it. And I'm going to start from the beginning. So I'll go ahead and keep the shadows, but I will eliminate the shadows around the pupil for now. I'll come back later, I promise. Oh. That's right, I forgot that I did put a little bit of extra shadow up on the top there. So I gotta be careful. But anyway, we're gonna pull everything back. And I'm gonna go through step by step once again. And hopefully find what's causing her to look so cross-eyed and off. So that was all I meant by something terrible happened. Something terrible happened. The gaze is wrong, and this is like the worst thing that could happen in an anime illustration. God, it's terrible. But fortunately, it's something I can fix. So, just gotta work like that. So I'm gonna take the details back one by one. And, make sure that the gaze is looking right at every step. Even here, it doesn't seem quite right, so that tells me that perhaps I need to push this eye a little further out. And this one too, honestly. So it's okay. When something terrible happens, you know, you just gotta break it down. Oops. And, you know, eventually the answer will come to you. In theory. With me, it normally does at least. But I feel like with this kind of thing, you also have to pick your battles. And, like, I am drawing the anime, which means that I cannot mess around when it comes to eyes or facial expression. The face is by far the most important part. So I'm gonna poke at this until it's perfect. Like, I don't care how long it takes. The face is too important. You don't mess around. Okay, but this seems fine. I'm just gonna touch up the shadows here. Actually, you know what? No, there's no point. I need to do that when the pupils exist. So sure, let's make the pupils exist. And we might get minor horror here and there, but don't worry, I'll fix it. Oops. Wrong layer. There we go. Just gotta believe. It'll get there. Let's see, does it need to go higher or something? Right now, I'm mostly focused on this eye. I'll worry about this eye afterward. But I figure if I can get the pupils lined up so this way she's looking where I want her to look, then the rest should come easy, right? That's the theory. So I will just do what I can to get those there. I'm going to be flipping the canvas all over the place. I am sure that when I make a time lapse of this footage, I'm going to make everyone nauseous here, but you know what? It'll be worth it. It'll be worth it. A little bit too high. So this is like little subtle differences in where the eyes are and where the pupils are actually matter a lot. So I am gonna keep pushing it around until I'm satisfied. This one okay now? No, I think it does have to be lower. But that feels too low, so I'm probably getting into subpixel shenanigans where maybe I'm caring a little bit too much, but whatever. I'll care as much as I please, dang it. Okay, that looks okay. And then on this side, I think I want to push the pupil... Did you get flattened out somehow? Oh no, that's just a bit of hair overlapping. Okay, that's fine then. And then I'll just push that around until she doesn't look cross-eyed or anything anymore. I think this looks okay. Yep, she's looking at me. Okay. Okay, seems good. Let's go put in the shiny part now. I haven't really changed the shape much, so I'm pretty sure I can just take what I drew and move it into the correct place. Maybe I can't, actually. Yeah, that's not right. Okay, I have to redraw it. That's fine. Let me make sure that I have the color. Normally, I just use the base color, but yeah, you can see I adjusted it very slightly here. So I will send you back to screen. Do I want you to be color dodge? No, your eyes are too light for color dodge. Okay. So a lot of the time when I'm doing the shiny part of the eye, I use color dodge, sometimes even addition if I'm feeling extra spicy, but typically just color dodge. But given how pastel her eye color is already, when I use color dodge, it just kind of blows everything out and turns it white. So it's just a little bit too bright. So screen is better in this case. Screen will lighten it up nicely and will not do it so hard that it just turns white. Honestly, I could probably use a million other blend modes if I was so inclined. It doesn't really matter which one you use as long as it looks nice. This is just the one I use. Anyway, I'm putting the ring back around the pupils since I am okay and satisfied with where they are. And this way I will know where to put the shiny spot. I just grabbed the color, I have it in my background color up here right now. And I'll plop it back down once I am satisfied with these shadows here. Not much point in plopping it down until I am satisfied with that, because I base the location of that on where these shadows are. And this is incidentally also why when I was going to touch up the shadows there, I said no, there's no point right now, because I knew that I'd be adding the pupil back. And just touching that up when there was going to be a pupil on top of it potentially, a waste of time. I'm trying to be very, very cognizant of these things because I want to draw faster. I want to draw faster, and I am trying to pick out every single little spot where I just make things take longer than they need to. And that was one. That was one. Just a little spot that, you know, I could touch up if I wanted, but why? Incidentally, my desire to draw faster is why you've been seeing a million shorts of me drawing heads. I analyzed my process, you know, because I've been streaming it. I could actually, like, go back and watch my things now. And I've been paying a lot of attention to where I slow down and where I take a really long time. That's one area, but the area that I'm practicing with all those shorts is, well, I was noticing that it was taking me a really long time to figure out facial proportions. And I was having to kind of flail at those a lot. So I was like, you know what? I should actually learn how to properly construct a head so that this way I don't have to do that anymore. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm just drawing lots and lots of heads. Been drawing lots of people's original characters, and I gotta say, it's been a good time. I've been having a lot of fun. And I think I'm also getting a lot faster at constructing heads. So I might actually start moving on to the next stage of the things that I think slows me down a lot, and that is hair. So naturally, that'll involve more drawing heads, but this time I'll just, you know, be a little bit more conscious of trying to draw hair faster. Although I think before I do that, I want to see if this method that I've been working on holds up in really hard poses. Like, I tried one relatively recently before I started getting a whole ton of requests. That was a pretty hard pose. And if I flailed around enough, I probably could have done it no problem. But I thought that flailing around really hard when I was just trying to learn how to go fast kind of defeated the purpose. So I decided to scrap that one and try hard poses again later, and now I'm looking at this specular highlight, and suddenly her gaze is all wonky again. So that tells me that there's probably something wrong with the specular highlight on this eye. This one seems okay, but I think I'll redraw them both. So, clear. Oh, wrong layer. No, we don't clear that layer. We clear this layer. There we go. No, Shine, you're fine. You can stay. But yeah, I grabbed the color. I grabbed the color before I changed it. And, you know, I had the big one over here last time. I'm gonna move it over to this side. So we're just gonna move it over here, and then there'll be like a little guy over there. And then I can have the big one over here. Maybe like right there. And maybe just a little guy by the pupil here. How's that? Are you looking at me still? Are you looking at me still? I think so. I'm feeling pretty okay about this, and I also think it's a little dark. Let's brighten that up a bit. I can probably afford to go pretty dang close to pure white, honestly. The colors I use in the eyes are really, really quite bright, so... Yeah, there we go. She's looking at me. Okay. See? See, this is what I mean. Sometimes when there's problems, you just gotta break it down a bit, and all will be well. I've been telling myself this when it comes to writing, too, because I've been a little bit stuck. I've been trying to write out the script for my comic idea, so that this way I can actually, you know, make that happen. But, man, I am not a super experienced writer. So I'm sure I'm falling into many a beginner pitfall. And art is hard, so... So yeah, I've been feeling a little bit stuck lately, and it feels really bad. But, you know, I just gotta break things down into what I know and keep trying to push through. And I have no doubt that eventually I'll find my way through. Look, something's gotta give eventually, right? Something will make sense in my brain eventually, right? That's kind of what I'm hoping for. Okay. How are we looking? You still looking at me, Iofi? Yes, still looking at me if I zoom in. Are you suddenly, like, looking way out in outer space? Nope, we're good. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and add my specular details. I just like doing a little bit extra to make them glow. And it's real easy to do, so... all I do, I put a little Gaussian blur on it, or however you say that word, and then I do a little bit of colorizing. You can see that there's just a little hint of color around there. And I try to pick, like, the opposite of what the eye color is. So this is going to be somewhere in like the yellow and orange range. And then I just pick a color that I think looks nice against it, and I make it nice and bright. You know, my general rule, if it's less than 50% saturation, it's boring. Not strictly true, but I do really, really like bright colors, so if I get the opportunity to make something bright and colorful, you know I'm gonna do it. I mean, just look at how bright and happy this painting is. It's so great. Alright, and then I'm gonna put another little blur on it, duplicate the layer again, put another little blur on it. This time I do not colorize it, I just leave it white, and it just makes it look a little bit shinier. There we go. I don't think I'm satisfied with the shininess of the shine here, so I'm gonna go ahead and increase the brightness a little bit here. Color dodge, maybe a bit too much. Just because it turned everything to white, but I can still be a little bit brighter. There we go, those are some bright, happy eyes. And she is no longer looking cross-eyed or vaguely possessed, which is always a plus. Okay, and then I wanted to tackle something on the hair that was bothering me. Like, this strand right here has like a million times more details than literally anywhere else in her hair, so I kind of wanted to pare that back a little bit. I'm sure that, you know, detail is nice, but if it's just more than everything else is getting, it starts looking weird, and it'll draw the eye. I don't really want the eye to be drawn to this random bit of hair here, like... No. Go look at her, go look at the shiny eyes. They're much better. Much more interesting, so I want to just kind of lower the detail here a little bit. Make it a little bit less strandy. This, I think, is fine. So, I think that's really all I gotta do there. I don't know, even that seems strong. Maybe what I want to do is... I don't know, do I want to eliminate the dark part there? Let me go back and forth a little bit here, because part of me kind of likes it, but I think it actually looks better without it. I might think about that one. No, I think I should have the dark part. But what I should do with this dark part is, instead of having all the little spokes coming out that I do, and all the tiny details there that I can tell that I zoomed in to, you know, 200%, much like I am now, and drew them all like this. So let's just... We're just gonna get rid of a little bit of the detail there, make it a little bit simpler. I'll even do that kind of around the hair clip a little. And I'll just put in some waves to kind of give the impression of hair instead. Yeah, there we go. That's a little better. Yeah, it was just looking a little odd. Anyway, so what I said I wanted to do today was figure out this hand. And you know what? I'm feeling up to it. I didn't sleep super great last night, but it doesn't matter because art is fantastic. So I just kind of want to get in there and do the thing. And if I start feeling like I need to cry when working on this part, I'll just go back to working on her face. So here we go. I'm gonna start with the part up in the furthest reaches up here. And that would be the tip of this brush here. And I think everything is actually shaped just fine here. I think it's all good. And I can even leave my big blob of paint there. Let's actually clear this for a moment just so I can really see where the paint is. So all I really gotta do is smooth out what I've already drawn. I don't gotta do anything super special. I don't gotta do anything super special here. And I'm not even going to remove the foreground at all here. I'm gonna leave it just like this, and if this brush looks correct, I'm gonna call it good. Even though it's in the foreground, I feel like it's very muted still. You know, it's not like the big yellow paint swash there. It's like, if you look at the thumbnail here, you can... The brush doesn't really stand out, right? So, that's why I'm not going to worry about it too strongly. Most of it is going to be in shadow here. In fact, I'm not actually sure why I'm drawing the shadows like this, since this is going to be covered with the paint color, but I'll go ahead and put down some quick and dirty stuff, and... You know, I've never actually drawn a paintbrush before, so... This is new and interesting. Go ahead and make the bottom nice and dark there, make it look a little bit round. And from there, I want to turn the paint swatch back on before too long, so I think I'll do that now. I'm going to go ahead and invert the color just so I can... I didn't even realize that part of the paintbrush went out there. That definitely should not be. Okay. There we go. Okay. I'm going to go look up a reference. I'm going to keep my flinging paint reference, so I'll go... Let's see. Let's look up paintbrush with paint, so I can see what paint looks like on a paintbrush. Let's see, these are all square, and the one that I drew is round, so let's go look at it for a round paintbrush with paint. Show me what you look like, guys. Yeah, very controlled, not very splattered at all. Okay. So, basically what I drew was fine. That's the moral of the story here. I think that this is pretty accurate. If anything, I could keep this, you know, flatter like this, but I think it looks better like this. I think it looks more like paint. So, this is one of those places where I think the impression that I want to give trumps any kind of realism. And I want it to look a little bit more paint-like. So it will be blobby. And that's the basic idea here. I also wanted to wrap all the way around the brush here. I'll have a little bit show just over on this side. Maybe have it like this, so it looks like it's dripping down a little bit. I think that looks pretty paint-like. And this will all be kind of lost in the yellow of the paint splash. But I want to make sure that I have the shape right. Here we go. I'll keep it all dark. It's all good. I missed a spot, but, you know, it's still all good. And then I think I want one more shadow color here. So I'll go ahead and make kind of a soft one. I don't want it to draw too much attention to itself. So I think that this is going to be pretty good. And I just want to put a little bit around the edge here. Just make it look a little bit more three-dimensional. Little bit more interesting. Put a little bit more color separation on those, because like I used the shadow color right here, and that was kind of blending where the edge of that paint versus the start of the paint on the paintbrush. It was all kind of blending together there. So I just want to separate it a little bit. This entire area can be dark, honestly. So I'll go ahead and put just a little bit of extra detail there. The shadow doesn't have to make sense. It just has to fulfill a very specific function. So there we go. Honestly, I could probably make the entire thing this color, but I won't. This is fine. Let's go ahead and include some of these flecks of paint flying everywhere in the shadow. Okay, and I will zoom in just a little bit, make sure that I have everything looking the way that I want it to. Make sure I didn't miss any spots. I think this kind of thing probably also slows me down a little bit, but I think it's important to the quality of the picture. Just make sure that I go in and everything is nice, smooth, and pretty. Gotta do the rendering properly. Very important. Okay, yeah, and that seems all good. Alright. How's it look? Yeah, that looks pretty good. I'd say I can see the difference between the paintbrush and the paint here. If anything, I could probably make some of those shadows a little juicier, so let's do it. Let's do it. That'll be a little bit thicker here. Really separate everything. Make it clear what is in front and what is in back. Okay. Yeah, that's good. I don't think I have to do any more than that. Let's go back to the brushy part of the brush. I'm just gonna kind of shade this like hair. I don't know. Brushes are kind of like hair, right? Hair adjacent. A lot of them are made from hair. Just not human hair. Been listening to some people talk about classical painting techniques, and indeed, they do bring up like hog bristle brushes quite a lot, so they are indeed made out of animal hair. Yeah. And I want to add just a little bit of shadow underneath this paint blob too. But I want it to be fairly small, fairly close to the paint, and also pretty close to that shape. The rest of this, I don't really know. I'm just kind of feeling it out. And I also want to make sure that my shading here is very, very round. Like, super duper round. Because this is like some extreme foreshortening here. Just, you know, the way her hand is coming out and all this. Like, this is some super extreme foreshortening. And the roundness will make it look a little bit more warped. Kind of sell that extreme perspective. Should look pretty nice once it's done. Hopefully, because next, I gotta tackle this thing. It at least looks like a hand, but I only kind of know what it's doing, so there you go. I haven't really been able to find a lot of good photo reference. Honestly, I should probably take a picture of my own hand at some point, but I didn't, so... so there we go. Phew. Alright. Just making sure that this part is nice and clean here. I was not satisfied with how blobby some of those edges were. But there we go. I think that's looking pretty alright. I'm just gonna add a little line there and call that good. I think that looks fine. Fine enough. I'll go ahead and make this one split and have half of it short, and the other part can be a little bit longer. Go all the way up here. Like I said, I'm just drawing this like hair at this point, just with a couple of extra shadows and a lot more roundness. But in my head, this is just hair. And I think at some point I have to like switch directions, but I think this is fine going this way. Sure, this looks fine. Just the opposite of what I did there, I guess. Alright, then going back close to the paint blobs here. There we go, something like that, and... yeah, I think that is just fine. So now let's go ahead and make it look a little bit hairy. Go ahead and add some little shapes going down here. Some little shapes going down here like this. I don't like breaking that one up like that. I think that one looks okay. Something like this. Okay, yeah, that should be fine. And then I just do the same kinda from up here. I want some of the bristle shadows to start from this side. I want some to start from this side. Just kind of make sure that the two halves are properly connected there. So I'll just add some strands like I would hair, and that'll probably do it. I'm not going to be super particular about this. It always feels weird to get to some of these points where I don't really have to be super particular about, like, anything anymore. After doing a face, where I have to be very particular about everything. And then I'm just kind of roughing up the bottom here, so this way it looks a little bit more... I guess hair-like, as opposed to just kind of flat. Like, I'm not making the big spokes anymore, but I don't want the bottom here to be completely flat. I don't think that makes sense. So, there we go. I think that should be plenty. Yep, that looks like a paintbrush to me, so I'm gonna call it good. Let's go do a hand. I guess. Okay, and so I see that I kept everything separated on layers for me. Alright, well, here goes nothing. So this is the front of the fingers. This is my index finger. I guess I'll start with the index finger. So I kept this top part here separate from the fingers because just to kind of help me see. Do I have a lighting layer on? I don't think I do. But there's like some residue of something there. I guess I must have had a bad color at some point. Okay. Well, can't have that, so... yeah, there was something off about the colors on my index finger here. So I'm gonna go ahead and correct those before I do anything further. Okay, that should do it. Alright. So anyway, as I was saying before I noticed minor color trouble here, I want to reconnect these fingers to her palm here. So I guess I'll start with this pointer finger. And then I can worry about the rest. Unfortunately, this is all so heavily exaggerated that I can probably do just about whatever I want, and it should look passable. Mostly, at least. So I'm trying to make the base part, like, much thinner than the top part here. That should sell the perspective a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and expand the top of her finger here a little bit. And when it comes to the nail, I kind of want to push the bottom part in a little. Make it more perspective-y. So, bottom part goes in, top part comes out. And I think that kind of makes it look like it's coming a little further forward. But I also think I want to push it down just a little. I think it's a little bit too high. I want the tip of that finger to look super meaty. And like we're kind of seeing it from the front. So I do believe that something like this is correct. And suddenly there is a fly buzzing in my face. Freaking flies, man. So distracting. It was kind of terrible. I was going on a walk this morning, and when I went past this one tree that had a lot of flies in it, for whatever reason, there was one that was just really determined to fly into my mouth. It had a death wish. But I did not want to eat it. So perhaps lucky for it, it got to live and did not get eaten. But it felt really terrible. It just kept trying to get in there. Landing on my lips and all these other really obnoxious things. And terrible. Terrible. It was super gross. Super duper gross. But back on the subject of drawing here, I am just kind of very slowly carving out the shape I want for this nail. I probably won't do as much canvas switcheroo as I was, you know, not that long ago. But there's going to be a little bit here and there. I want to make sure that I have these angles right. No, that doesn't look good. I do want to make sure I have these angles right. Don't mind me just interrupting myself. I do it all the time. This is what happens when you hold too many thoughts in your head at once. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Okay, so I'm gonna zoom in on my pointer finger here and invert the color so I can really see what I'm doing. And I'm just gonna finish defining the outer edge here. This is the finger that's the most important. This is the one where I kind of really want to get everything right. So I'll spend a bit of extra time on him just to make sure that everything looks as good as I can make it. I actually don't think this finger looks too bad. Again, I'm not sure if it's right, but I don't think it really matters that much. Let the nail hang off this finger just a little bit to better show the angle here. Is that right, though? Yeah, I think it is. And that I'm leaving the top a little bit square almost to make it look like her finger is kind of pressing up against the brush as opposed to just kind of sitting on it. So it's a little bit flat at the bottom. But otherwise, I think that's looking pretty good. And before I fix the colors again, I'm going to go ahead and finish drawing the nail. Go ahead and draw these things together. This is such a weird shape for a nail, but I think it is right. Just for the extreme angle that the finger is at here. Yeah. I think that's about right there. So I'm going to go ahead and add some shadows and highlights. I'm pretty sure I made it the same color as this. Sure did. So I even get to pick the same things. So I want this side to be in shadow. Not like that though. Just, again, it's perspective shenaniganry. Perspective shenaniganry makes everything harder. And then I will put just a little highlight on it. I want a little bit up at the top here. Give it a bit of thickness. And then just a little light there to make it look, I don't know, shiny or something. Is that accurate? I think so, question mark. But yeah, that seems about right. Okay, let's go ahead and connect the other fingers, and we'll see if I like this in 5 minutes. I wish I could speak a little bit more confidently on that hand, but cannot. I think it's okay, though. So now I want to connect all of these fingers. I only kind of know what they're doing, but I think that this kind of thing should be sufficient. Might look a little bit weird at first, but bear with me. I think I know what I'm doing. I think all of this should actually be okay. I kind of do have the fingers curving a little bit strangely, but I think it actually works. So I'ma keep it, and we'll just let these fingers kind of sit on top of each other. I'll go ahead and just kind of draw them properly here. There we go, and we got a little pinky kind of sticking out. Alright, and then I had these fingers, or at least the parts of the finger here, kind of wrapping around. Do we see the nail on this one? Should I just draw it like this? No. We let it curve around the brush. Just had to think about that one for a second. And from here, actually, I think the way I want to draw the pinky is I want it to kind of disappear. So it's just kind of gonna disappear behind the ring finger here. We won't see this part at all. And then the ring finger here is going to go a little bit more kind of this direction. And wrap around like that. Yes. And also should be a little bit shorter here. Both of these fingers should be a little bit shorter. This one should be a lot shorter. Okay. Getting there. Like I said, I'm not entirely sure if that's right, but it looks passable to me. Maybe I bent her fingers just a little bit too much and I should do a slight rotation here. But at most, I think that's what's wrong here. It's just kind of a weird angle. Like it is what it is, right? It is a very, very strange angle. And I'll just get rid of this part. That should be fine. Cheat a little bit, but only a little bit. And then just put all of these points in the proper place. Draw those volumes. Alright, and yeah, I will go ahead and keep this one dark. Let it kind of wrap around behind the finger there. And then the pinky itself will just kind of disappear. I think I need to send this one a little bit further out like this. Okay. I think that this is a fine hand. The perspective on it is just very, very extreme. So it makes enough sense. But I think that's what matters here. Go ahead and go send the pinky into the fingers here. And there we go. Okay. Now then, I just kind of had to figure out how they're going to be shaded. So we have the kind of the separation between the index finger and the middle finger here. Those fingers really are curving hard though, aren't they? I think I might actually do something a little bit different with the middle finger. Because when I do this kind of pose myself, I notice that my middle finger here sticks up just a little bit more and actually kind of separates from the ring finger. So I think I might want to do something a little bit more like this. This looks like nonsense. But trust me, it'll make sense. So we stick it up. And then I take this part in the back here. And he just kind of... Let's see, what does my finger do? Yeah, he just kind of... Why can I not move my things? There it is. Okay. Wrong layer. It's fine. Yeah, this is going too far forward at the moment, but... I think the idea is solid. I just wanted to kind of twist back this way. I'm gonna have to curl the fingers a little bit. This is another thing that the perspective is distorting a little bit. I do need to curl the fingers just a little bit extra in order for it to make sense here. This still looks a little bit broken, but you know, like I said, bear with me. It'll get there. Right, I'm not on the right layer. And when I do the pose, I see that it kind of goes down and just wraps kind of like this. That looks hella broken though. Am I sure that's right? Am I sure? Okay, I have one more thought. I want to bring these, like, way down. Like, really, really far down. Make them significantly shorter. And I'll deal with the palm after. Okay. And that was kind of why I was putting so much space between those fingers. And actually, now that I think about it, I should probably take my fingers and warp them a little bit more. We're going to put more space between the index finger and the rest of the fingers here. Perspective, just warping things a bit. It's all good. I kind of knew that I'd have to feel out the perspective here. It was kind of inevitable. But it's fine. I'll get it. Make this one a little bit thicker. Okay, so something like that. And then this guy here, I will just... Oh, I had you locked. This will kind of go into the rest of the hand here. That still looks a little bit broken. Let me twist it this way. Okay, that seems all right. And then this one will kind of blend in with that, and they just kind of wrap around a little. And the pinky disappears. I still think that's right. I still think the pinky disappears. Okay. I'm going to merge these together. I think at this point I do kind of have to draw everything together, and I'm going to erase the palm entirely. And just connect everything via the fingers here. So here we're seeing the top of the hand here. And then it'll kind of point off into space here. And this is once again the top. And then it points off into space here. There we go. This looks pretty legit. It's blocky right now, but it'll get there. And then pinky. I'm gonna make this pinky a little thinner. There we go. This is only slight nonsense, so I think that's an improvement. Okay, how are we looking? You know, I think that's actually pretty alright. Okay. I think I'm gonna have both the fingers here just going off into the background here, and I don't mind if they kind of blend together color-wise. That's not really my concern here. I think that's fine. I'll let a little tiny gap exist here. Go ahead and invert the colors on the hand again, so that this way I can make sure those edges are looking fantastic. So we have the top here. This is where it starts going back into space. I want this finger to be just a little bit thicker, so I will do that. Okay. Define where things go out here. And this kind of goes back into space, so it's fine if it gets oddly thin. I think it makes sense in this context, so I'm not going to worry about it. And this is, I think, one of the few times where I actually feel the need to have 3 joints. Most of the time when I draw anime hands, I only draw 2 joints. but I need to actually let it curl around the brush. So I actually need that third joint this time. Gonna just turn the entire pinky dark. Okay, and this ring finger, on the other hand, gets to be 2 joints. I don't need the third here. I don't. So this is fine. Okay. How are we looking? Yeah, seems about right. Maybe I shouldn't let them be the darkest color, though. Because, I mean, they are kind of blending together a little bit too hard. The pinky stays the darkest. That makes sense. These I will make the second darkest, that this way I can use the darkest to kind of separate where this middle finger is sitting on top of the ring finger. And then let's see. I think there should be a shadow here and a shadow here. Very light shadow on that one. Okay, and then I want to define where the pinky is folding over on the palm here. I believe that is correct. But no, I gotta be very particular about how this finger is bending here. So it's kind of coming out like this. And then curling around everything, and that's what's throwing me off here. There we go. It's like half underneath the middle finger here. This one might actually need a nail. I don't know. I'll try giving it one. I don't think it actually should, but with the way I drew it, it's probably better than it not having one. Yeah, that seems alright. So the finger looks really big up here, and then as it recedes back, it starts looking smaller. So I think that's right. I think that's right. Okay, I'm just gonna shape this finger a little bit more because I want it to get thinner as it goes back. And then the pinky does pinky things. It's fine. I can do whatever I want there, and it'll look okay. Okay, how we doing? Okay, I think that seems alright. Let's go ahead and kind of shape the brush itself a little bit, just to make everything look like it's wrapping around a little bit more. I need it to be a little tiny bit thicker at the top. And once again, this brush was made yellow just so it wouldn't stand out too much and draw too much attention. It doesn't need to be drawing that much attention. So it's just going to be the same as a bunch of the other colors around it. Contrasting perfectly with her eyes, because her eyes are purple. So, using the complementary colors there to make her eyes stand out a little bit more. Just this entire area filled with yellow, and then this lovely contrasting color right in her face, right where I want you to look. Mm-hmm. This is where, if you're smart enough as an artist, you can indeed engage in a little bit of mind control. There are things you can do to make the viewer look where you want them to look. Pretty cool. Psychology is wild. Okay. Yeah, I think that's fine. I think that's fine. Let's go ahead and clean this up. And then I'll worry about the shadows on the brush. There, I just, you know, got the edge. And I think that's looking pretty good. Yeah, that is some extreme perspective on her hand. Wow. But I think it looks okay. Alright, so if I've done the index finger... Well, I've done the edge of the index finger. I will get the edge of these guys real quick. And then I can worry about actually cleaning up the shading a little. And it will look as I want. Alright, well, that was less of a nightmare than I feared it might be. I just had to realize that I had to put in some very strange, extreme perspective in order to make this work. So there we go. Once I realized that, all was well. Sometimes knowing is half the battle, so there you go. Okay, and those look to be some pretty good edges. I'll worry about the nail right now. Let's get the nail. I wanted to twist just a little bit more here. And I am just going to put the entire finger into shadow, so it's not going to have a lot of detail. Alright, now I just want to make sure that this nail looks a little bit rounder. Iofifteen has round nails, not square ones. This one kind of has to stay like this. I don't actually know how to make it look rounder at this angle, so that is fine. There we go, that is perfect. So, now I can focus on getting all of the shadows right. And getting them nice and clean. I want to round things a little bit more. Right now, things are very, very square. Because I personally find it easier to think in squares. But I want her fingers to look, you know, soft and delicate, and a square, not exactly great for that. So I do want to round things out just a little bit here. Okay. Just get a little line there from where the fingers are kind of pressing against each other. When shadows are very close to each other, they get darker and smaller. But in this case, I'm not doing a lot with the shadows in this area, so I'm mostly just making sure that the shadow is flat and very tight, basically a line. As opposed to whatever else it might be able to be. You know what? I'm gonna invert the color on the palm here as well. Both so I can clean up some of the edges here and get rid of some of these stray pixels that are everywhere. Okay, like I said, that could have gone a lot worse. So I will take it. I will take it. I was really afraid of that hand. I was afraid that I'd just be flailing at this for like an eternity, like I was with Yuyuko's hand in the last drawing I did on stream. Because man, that I just flailed at for so long, and here I was just like, okay. Just think a little bit harder about the perspective and all will be well. And all was well. I think I might actually even just... Do I want to do that? Does that look good? I don't actually think it does. I changed my mind. I like it better with just the shadow on the side here. I do want it to sharply angle back, though. So this will show the side of the hand going all the way kind of back like this. It looks a little bit ridiculous, but everything about this pose is ridiculous, so it's fine. It's totally fine. Now, I just get the side of the finger on here. Line up these shadowed areas here. The other half of this is going to go into the thumb, which I have not done yet. So I don't mind that it's a little choppy at the moment. I guess I should go do the thumb before I finish off the rest of this. Man, I have, like, none of these layers named. I was so bad. Well, I'm not going to do it now, so... Because once I draw this, it's like I'm going to leave this area and never come back, so... There's not much point. And I think this is really all I got to do with the thumb, so... Just draw that little knuckle, and there we go. The thumb is behind everything, so we don't see the nail. I legit think that's all I have to do. So there we go. Easy peasy. Man, that just reminds me that my kids heard the phrase easy peasy lemon squeezy for the first time recently. And they just think it is the most hilarious thing. It's extremely cute and very funny. It just amuses me so much of what kids find hilarious. They just kept repeating it and giggling up a storm. Just absolutely adorable. Alright, there we go. There's a wrist, I guess. Wrist and arm, I think that's about all I need. At least until I do the sleeve, but the sleeve's not coming for a while, so that's fine. That'll be a problem for my future self. I'm admittedly not looking forward to doing the rest of that arm either, but I can at least do the face before that, because this part is further back than her head, you can tell, because her hair is on top. So even following my personal method of, you know, top to bottom there, it comes later. I'm not even cheating. Alright, and on the thumb, I do think I will add just a little bit of a dark part here, just to separate it from the index finger a little. I want to make it clear which part is in front and which part is in back, and I want to make sure that those are separated, because that finger is quite prominent. Quite prominent. Okay. And I'm pretty sure the proportions in all this is nonsense, but you know what? I think it looks good. So, I think I can leave it like this. Okay, let's go ahead and finalize those shadows on the finger here. We'll go ahead and give her a joint right there and right there. All right, there we go. That is a finished hand. Let's go do the paintbrush. Don't actually think I have that much to do here, so... Oh, I do not have the layer locked. That would be a problem. I'm going to go ahead and get close to the fingers here. They're pressing right up against it, so I do not want the shadow to be large. And I think that's about all I need there. Let me see, what kind of material is this brush made out of? Let's see if I can find... Are they like plastic? It does look like there's like a metal bit there that I should probably draw. Yep, there is a little bit of a metal bit. Actually, I think this entire thing should be metal bit. Yes. So I actually should not be using yellow here at all. I should be using gray. Okie dokie. Oops. I'm okay with this. I actually am. And then I see that... Yeah, okay. I can... My reference here is very, very tiny, so I can't really make out the details here, but I think I know what they're going for. So then there's gonna be a... thing wrapping around right here. And... Let's see, is it there? Yes. Yes, it's there. Let me see if I can... Let me go check a real round brush here. Because, like, I know what this thing that I'm seeing is, but I don't know what they look like typically. Okay, you know what? We're gonna keep things simple. So when I go look at real round brushes, there's like, let me just kind of doodle what I was looking at here. So you have the brush head, and then it's on a pole, right? And then typically at some point of the pole, there's like these little ridges. And I was trying to figure out where those little ridges that should go. But typically they're actually like at the base of the metal part, which her hand is on, as opposed to the top. So that's why I think I can just kind of keep things simple. And just put in some basic shadows and call it good. And then I'll just put on a shiny highlight to make it look more metallic. And that should do it. Don't gotta make things complicated here. But nonetheless, I'm glad that I went to go look at the reference there just to make sure. Just to make sure that I was remembering what these things looked like. Because I can't say that I draw paintbrushes very often. So, I definitely did not know what they looked like. And I think something like this is sufficient. This area is pretty muted, even before the gray. So I don't need to put that much detail into it. But I will add just a little tiny shine here. Just to make it look a little bit more metallic. Because, yeah, metal round brushes, they do kind of have this metal shine pattern. As you might expect from something made out of metal. And there we go. That looks sufficiently metallic to me. Yep, sure does. Alright. So I think that is this entire forward area done, which means I get to go back to drawing a face. Let's go. I didn't even have to procrastinate. I just went in and everything got done. I guess I'll make the paint a little bit shinier in a couple of spots. Yeah. I'll add just a little shine right there. Maybe in the actual shine color. There. There we go. Give it a little bit of a shine. I think that looks fine. Maybe not the best hand I've drawn, but I think it looks okay. Does she have the right number of fingers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. Okay. For a second there, I thought that I lost a finger. But no, all is well. All right. So, for going back to the face, I have to make a decision. Do I prefer open mouth or closed mouth? I prefer open mouth. Okay. So I'll go ahead and draw that, and then I guess I'll refine the shape of her head. Actually, most of the time I refine the shape of the head first, but, you know, it doesn't really matter what order I do it in, as long as I get it all. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and really smooth out those corners. And now, when it comes to open mouth, there's two ways I can do it. I can either do it, you know, the way that I have it right now with kind of her lower lip down, or I can do more of this kind of shape. I don't know. There she looks kind of freaked out, so I think I'll keep it like this. I think it is something both with how I draw things in general and just the angle of her head being kind of craned back a little bit. Okay, and I actually think I want to go get the outline of her head here. I'm gonna hide her hair for a second. Where is her hair? Something I was just feeling off about her jawline there. Okay. There we go. That should be slightly more accurate than what I had. Let me just check this again because, yeah, the nose, it's gotta line up with that. From probably about here. Okay, yeah, that's about right. That's about right. And I think the rest of her head is looking pretty good here, so I can mostly just refine the edge here slightly. And that's all I gotta do. I'm gonna make her cheek a little bit puffy, because it will make her face look a little bit rounder and cuter. Iofifteen has a pretty round face. I just went ahead and looked at her model again. And yeah, it's pretty round. If anything, I can round out her cheeks down here a little bit, too. We want nice, soft angles here. So I'll round out the chin as well. Make her face look nice and squishy. Gonna shorten the chin just very slightly here. There we go. That should give her nice squishy cheeks. And I can make them especially round because she's smiling so wide. If you look at your cheeks in a mirror, they do indeed get very round around the eyes when you smile big. So I got a little bit of room to make these extra poofy. extra round, and it should make her look very cute. And then by her mouth, I'm making things a little bit thinner because I want to make it look like all of the muscles here are being stretched upward, which just at this angle makes the part here look a little bit thinner than it otherwise would because everything is just being stretched up. Okay. Okay. So I kind of want the shadow of her head to be a little bit more like here, next to her eye. So I'm kind of feeling my way through that shape here. But I also want her to be nice and round. So I'm trying to make it a little bit rounder than I otherwise would have. Give her the nice, squishy, cute face. That's what's important here. And then I just got a few blobs I'm going to work out here. Just due to my inability to draw nice, straight, smooth lines. There we go. It's okay, it's no problem. Alright, let's put some shadows underneath that hair. I'm keeping a little bit of distance between the shadows and where the hair actually falls. Because the hair is not right up against her face or anything. It's a short distance away. And by keeping a little bit of distance here, I keep that impression. Sometimes in my illustrations, I'll put hair shadows right next to the hair, even though it's not realistic, just because I need to separate the hair from the skin tone a little bit better. But I think it's fine here to do it like this. Okay, and that's all the hair shadows, so that was easy. So now I guess I can go right back to the face. Once again, I kinda want to make things a little bit rounder here, so I think the bottom of my mouth here is a little bit too pointy. So I'll go ahead and make that a little bit rounder too. And then I'm going to give her some teeth. Yeah, just a small little bit of toothiness. There's not going to be a lot of tooth showing here. But I do think it'll make it look ever so slightly cuter. See, just a tiny bit. And then I'm just using the same color for the eye white. I think that's a fine color here. Just a little shadow right there. And then what's really gonna finish it off is I'm gonna add a little bit of tongue. Okay. So I'm gonna take the mouth color, I'm gonna make it just a little bit pinker. And a lot lighter. Alrighty. No, not there. More like... There we go. Okay, and there we go. That's a mouth. Let's go do her nose. I think the nose is going to take even less time than that, so... Always nice when things can be simple. So the main thing I want to do here is I want to make the point that I feel like we'll actually have a degree of shadow. Just a little bit thicker. So that'll be right there. There we go. Get a nice friendly triangle in there. Okay, perfect. And then I see that this part right there just not looking quite the way I wanted it to. Easy fix. Just gotta touch up these things sometimes. All right. I'm gonna take the back hair out of this group because I want to add some blush. Right now, her face is just all one solid color, and well, the human face looks better with some reds in it, so let's add some red to her cheeks. This will make her look much more alive, and of course, much cuter. She's not like going to be blushing or anything, so I'm not going very hard on it. And I like to add a little bit to the chin and forehead too. Okay. And I will use the eraser to kind of blend it all in a little bit better. And I want a little bit more on the nose there. Oh, and this should actually be on top of the face. Just so that the nose shadow there gets a little bit more red. Did I miss a spot here? I sure did. Okay, I just see that there's like a little weird blah right here. It didn't look too weird until there was suddenly blush there, but... Okay, and then I like to put little highlights on them. Just tiny little highlight here. I'm gonna go ahead and grab the color on her cheek and just make it almost pure white. The kind of thing that I just think makes things look a little bit cuter. There we go. There we go. And sometimes I add the little lines to the face, but I don't think I will here because she's not like supposed to be blushing or anything. She's just, you know, alive and happy. Right here I even think is a little bit too red, so I'm kind of toning it back just a little with my airbrush eraser. All right. There we go. That is one cute face. I am satisfied. Oh yeah, and I should actually put the shadow from the paint on it here. That'll be like down here. Oh, no, not with the airbrush. That'll be like down here. Kinda imitating the shape there. There we go. There we go. Okay. And then a little bit from hair here. And let's see. Yeah, her eyelids are totally covered up. So can't give her the double eyelid there. It's covered up by hair. That said, I do think, like, her eyebrows are showing a little bit, and they're clearly not in the right spot, so I should definitely fix that. I'm taking another look around to make sure I didn't miss any shadows from paint here. I don't think I did. So I'm going to hide the hair for a moment, and the paint, and I'm going to go ahead and put those eyebrows in better spots. And I will draw them properly. Where'd they go? Here we are. This one seems alright. But this one needs to be, like, here. Go ahead and make it the right width. I just want to make sure that if there's any parts showing through the bangs, that I'll know that I have to draw them. Okay. So now if there's any purple showing through the hair, I know that I have to draw it, and it's just right here. Right there is the only spot I have to care about. Yep, and the rest of the eyebrows not showing at all. So there we go. Let's go ahead and turn the paint back on too. There we go. I think that is a pretty cute little face. Let's go draw the rest of her hair. Alrighty. Let's see here. How am I gonna tackle the rest of the hair here? Yeah, seems pretty straightforward. I think the shapes on it are all fine, so I'm just gonna go ahead and refine that. I just had to think for a second on whether or not I wanted to change anything here, but no, I think it's all good. And then after that, I'll add a few more loose strands. But first, I just want to make sure everything's clean. I will go ahead and hide her mane hair here. Where'd it go? Just to make sure I'm not getting my wires crossed. Make sure that I give this part of her hair the attention that it needs. And don't get it confused with anything else. For now, not really concerning myself with shading. I should not even be zoomed in this close. I don't know what I'm doing. And I just want to focus on getting those nice big curves right. I will almost certainly have to zoom in that close to finalize the curves. Just because I cannot, I can never actually draw them properly from this distance. But I just want to make sure I have the big picture right. And I actually don't want this hair to be completely under this paint. So I'm gonna go ahead and curve it out just a little bit more here. Maybe do it like this. Yeah, something like that. This way it's clear that the hair is behind the paint, because you can see that the paint is just sitting completely on top of it here. And oh yeah, I am so gonna have to zoom in and clean that up. Okay, and then spinning around here. This is probably changing a lot of what I had drawn before, but it doesn't really matter. Because what matters is what I see through this big wall of paint that I have drawn. And I'm kind of designing the hair with that in mind. Man, that face is really cute. I'm so glad I was able to fix her eyes so quickly. Now I just get cute face to stare at every time I go and poke stuff. And that'll definitely help carry me through the rest of the drawing. I like having something nice to look at. So I do whatever it takes to get the picture to a spot that I think looks really nice. Okay. And once again, I'm being very particular about where I put the hair relative to this paint. Here, I had the hair kind of like right up next to this guy. So I had two options. Either I trim it back like that's what I decided to do, or I make it even thicker and send it through the paint. You do not want them just rubbing up against each other. Because at that point, it kind of flattens the image in a bad way. Because it becomes harder to tell if the hair is in front or if the paint is in front. Because they're just sitting there right next to each other. And you lose all sense of perspective. Tangents are bad, okay? Yeah, and it's kind of the same with this one. You can see that these are, like, right next to each other, so I'm gonna pull this back just a little here. It's not so bad since the other half of this is at least on top of it, but I just do not want those parts to be just sitting there right next to each other. It's no good. No good at all. Okay, and then I just gotta kind of go through and make sure all these strands are connecting in a way that I think looks nice, and then I can add some of the loose strands after. But I want to make sure that these curves are nice. Also, I almost forgot actually, so I'm saying this now to remind myself that she has some blue gradation on the tips of some of her hair. And I still need to draw that. I was planning on drawing it at the end. But the end is almost here. So, here we are. Oh yeah, and I should draw her little hair bun here too. There we go. Keeping that one simple. Alright, now I just gotta get this curve nice and smooth. I do wish that I could draw these curves a little bit better, but I have found that the easiest way for me is to go through, kind of approximate it, and then go through and eliminate all those parts that looked bad and blobby to me. So now I just gotta eliminate all the bad spots and make sure everything else looks nice. Go ahead and fill it in here. Nah. Okay. So this is another point where I feel like the spots are a little bit off relative to the paint, so I'm going to add a little bit more of a gap here to make it clear that the hair is kind of splitting right there. Before, it was doing it a little bit too close to the paint, and some of that effect was being lost. Kind of the same here. So we don't see the tip of this hair, but that's fine. It'll just taper off behind the paint, and that is okay. Although, no, it really doesn't, does it? Okay, I have to hide the paint for a second, just to see the structure of this hair a little bit better. I'm gonna start minimizing some groups here. Okay, so the way I have this structured here... Yeah, this should actually all be together. It was probably just some residue from something that I drew earlier. Okay. Fortunately, that was pretty easy to check, and I'm not going to worry about getting that entire curve looking good, because it's all covered with paint. It would be a waste to spend a bunch of time on that area that's just going to be covered by the foreground. There we go. Okay, let's go ahead and add some loose strands. Get all of this looking super good. Man, I'm just not drawing any strands that I like here. That does happen sometimes. But this should make her hair look very soft. Oh, looks like I did not get part of this looking right. Let's get in there. Let's get in there. Okay, and I think that is fine. Maybe one more going out this way. If I can get it to curve the way that I think will look nice. Okay, there we go. I think that's sufficient. Let's go ahead and put her hair back on. And so now the next step is to go ahead and decide where the light parts and dark parts should be. Let's see. I want the dark parts to kind of be on this side. I'll just go ahead and let both these strands be dark, that's fine. And then I want some especially dark spots from cast shadows from the other hair up there. Is it on that side? No, it should be on the other side. Trying to keep my light source in mind here, which is kind of roughly on her face. So anything on, you know, this part of the hair should definitely be cast, the shadow should be cast away from her face. And this is one of those cases where, even though it is not strictly correct, I am going to go ahead and kind of outline the hair on the previous layer. Or on the upper layer. Just because I think it blends in too much otherwise. So this is not strictly correct, but you know, that's okay. This'll make the hair stick out a little bit more. And I'll go ahead and start putting in some cast shadows from the paint as well. Those can be a little bit further away. Just kind of following the shape as best I can. And then from there, I can kind of start constructing the rest. I'm probably going to trace over things a lot. I'm going to slide this in just a little bit here. I didn't like how it was relative to that bit of paint. It was too tangenty. I want to give it just a little bit of space there. Alright, there we go. So yeah, I'm probably going to end up covering up a lot of this, but that's okay. I use different colors here, huh? What color do I use here? These are different colors, so why did they not... Are they not different colors? Is my color sense just completely off here? Like, these are clearly different colors. One moment, I gotta touch this up. And I gotta at least be using the right color here. Do not want to add some extra colors for no reason. A lot of my style is about, you know, more minimal use of colors, so... But you do not look the same. But I guess you are. Okay. The colors are fooling me. Gotta work on that. Alright. Go ahead and just brush in the rest of these. And then I will worry about all the rest. And start making all this look like hair. No, this side. Yeah, and then I'll bunch of this stuff is just going to be in shadow because there's just these big old blobs of paint everywhere. Same over here. All right. So I think that's all the shadows from the blobs of paint. It's like on this one, I did not use the dark shadow, which may be the correct move. I might go back and fix it, but honestly, it doesn't really matter at this stage. I'll go ahead and take a look and see what this looks like. And if I don't like it, I will fix it. So now I just got to go through and make all this look hair-like. See, I told you I'd be drawing over some of that and that it's fine. Happens all the time. All right. And then this one is on top of that big strand here, so I'm going to go put a shadow here. I actually think I probably want a dark shadow on top of it. Really pull it out. But for the separation between these two strands, I want a lighter one. So here I'm just kind of constructing all of this. That's always the first step. I can't really go in and render until I know where these shadows are supposed to be. And if I tried to do that zoomed out, I would make some very bad shadows. So you gotta do it all zoomed out. And then once I have the general gist, I can go ahead, zoom in, and make it all look nice. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Now I just got this big one in the back here. The big old side ponytail. Okay, and I want to make sure that I have dark shadows under all of her bangs here. And they definitely have to be the darkest shadow color. Because otherwise, they would not be visible, and that would be sad. As you can see that I use my dark color, like, right there, for example. And right here, so if I just had a normal shadow there, you would not be able to tell the difference. And that is indeed not good. I gotta make sure that I have these nice dark shadows in the right spots. Very important. Very, very important. You know, it's funny, a long time ago, I actually really did not like drawing hair. And I didn't like the way my hair looked. I always thought it looked really bad. So I started kind of studying it and practicing and trying different things, and now I'm pretty happy with it. And I think I can make it look pretty good. So, the joy of improvement. See, people act like skill comes with time, but I think it takes more than time for certain skills to come. Sometimes it takes science. Sometimes you gotta try things, and you gotta really think about it. You can't just grind. You can't just grind endlessly. You actually gotta study and stuff. So I think to an extent that is important to remember. It's not about grinding, it's about knowledge. And knowledge does not always come easy. Not at all. But just seeing what I can do with hair now, it makes me happy. Okay. And yeah, I guess that's probably about it, really. Maybe add another little strand down here or something. Okay, yeah, and then I can go through, make that look good, and then put the dark colors for the paint back. Add highlights. Getting her whole head done today. And that arm. I actually wouldn't be surprised if I could finish that entire arm. I think I might get her neck and shoulder before I go back over there. So kinda this area. Because then I can make sure that all of this attaches properly, but yeah, you know, I think I'm gonna be able to get all that done today. No problem. Feels good. I'll worry about those kind of darkest shadows a little bit later. I'm gonna go ahead and do these ones first. Part of the reason for that is just I like being able to grab two colors and then press X to switch between them. Makes my life a bit easier. And another part of that is just I like to... I do like to try to keep things simple, and by doing these kind of preliminary shadows, or I guess the first layer of shadows, they're not really preliminary, but this first layer, it keeps things a little bit easier to understand. So I can just kind of go. And I don't gotta worry about silly things. Sometimes you do just kind of gotta go. That's kind of how I've been feeling about a lot of my practice drawings. Just gotta go. Gotta keep going and going. It's actually been kind of funny because I figured that I'd open up things to requests, but I wasn't actually really expecting to get any. Because it's not the first time I've done that, and only occasionally when I've opened things up to requests have I actually gotten requests. But right now, I've got enough requests that I had to break out my old Trello board, and just so that I wouldn't lose the references or forget anyone. So that feels pretty good. That is the result of just kind of going. I decided I wanted to practice drawing heads, so I did repeatedly. And now not only do I have a bunch more practice under my belt to the point that I can draw them fairly fast, by my standards at least. But I can post frequently enough that I'm actually getting attention, and it feels great. Attention is great. It's like, even if you don't need it, it feels good to have. So I'll say it again, I take requests. I do. So if you want me to draw something, you know, comment on this video, and I'll draw you a headshot. It's all the headshots that have been showing up in my shorts recently. I'll draw you one, and it'll be great. Been having such a great time, you know, drawing everyone's original characters and whatnot. It's a lot of fun. So I'd love to draw yours too. And I am happy to let stream viewers jump the queue. So if you're here watching this, you comment in the video and ask me to draw the thing. Yeah, I'll let you jump the queue. Just provide me the visual references, what kind of expression you want your character to have, and I'll go draw the thing. And you can help me practice drawing heads and hair and stuff, and help me speed things up. So far, I've been having great success. I am so much faster than I was than before I started drawing all these things. And it's pretty great. Unironically, I'm quite happy, because I am legitimately faster than I was before. Like, it's night and day difference. I feel it, man. And I feel like I'm flailing at facial proportions a lot less. And I haven't even drawn like a dozen of these yet. This was just me sitting down, really taking the time to figure out how I see heads, and figuring out how I can measure proportions a little bit more accurately and quickly, so I wouldn't have to go back and just flail all the time. And it's working. It is so working, and it is great. But for now, it is time to draw a lot of hair. And man, I swear anime girls just have so much hair. It's just like a mountain. Honestly, I don't even think Everest has anything on the mountain of hair that anime girls have. Because my god, look at all the hair. And I'm not even sure if I'm at the halfway point. It's like, this area's a bit less detailed than the rest, just due to the nature of how this hair is structured, but oh man, it's so much. It's so much. What do they even do with all this hair? How do their heads not collapse? I'm gonna... No. This is good. I will trust my construction here. I liked the way it looked when I was zoomed out, so... I think all should be well. I just gotta make sure that I break up the length and width of all these groups of hair. Because if they start getting too similar, it gets really dull, really boring. So I gotta kind of break it up a little bit. And that's something I gotta consciously think about. I can't just kind of autopilot my way through. So you can see I decided to add a thin one there, and I made the one next to it a little bit shorter, just so that they wouldn't be the same length anymore. So these are the things that I do in order to make these things look good. Sure, I'll cut in here too. Add another little thin guy here. There is always a surprising amount of stuff to think about. Sometimes even when I think I can turn on my brain and just... or turn off my brain, rather. And just think about something else. I find myself making a wrong turn and, doing the equivalent of, like, accidentally putting, milk in a bowl or something. Brains are wild. I was trying to think of something that I've done on autopilot recently, but I can't actually think of very much. Yeah, I actually can't think of anything. Huh. I find it hard to believe that I haven't gone on autopilot recently, but, you know, here we are. Maybe I was so on autopilot that I just didn't even notice. Or it just happened to work out that I wanted the thing that I went on autopilot to do. Or that my autopilot gave me. As opposed to making me do something weird and just random. I guess it was last night where I was thinking about something and I went to brush my teeth. And I go to bed after my husband does, so he's generally asleep by the time I go to bed. And I turned on the light in our bathroom, but forgot to close the door. Because my mind was just very preoccupied with thinking about my comic. And trying to figure out how to solve some of the problems that I've been having there. And I was just like, wait, whoops. Fortunately, he's a heavy sleeper. I don't think it woke him up. It's hard to say. He's also the type that wouldn't say anything to me, even if I did. Especially if it was an accident. But it didn't seem like he stirred, so I think it was fine. I still feel maybe a little bad about that, though. It's just like, on my old sleep schedule, I never had to worry about that because we were never sleeping at the same time. But with this new one, he goes to bed a little bit before I do. So I gotta make sure to close the door before I turn on the light to brush my teeth. Our bathroom is connected to the bedroom, so... Alright, which clump do I tackle next? I think it's gotta be this one. Phew, almost through it though. Man, just a lot of hair. Just a lot of hair. But it's okay, it looks very good and very fluffy. I love how fluffy her hair looks. That's why I named an episode about how fluffy the hair is. Just made me so happy. It's like I mentioned that a while back, I really did not like my hair, but I like it now. But even by how I've been drawing hair lately, I think that this hair is particularly good. So... that's been nice. Really like this one. Look at it spin. It's so spinny. Keep having the wrong color picked there. It's always funny when I get my wires crossed with my color picking. Sometimes it takes me a few times before I finally get it back to picking the right one. There we go. And I think there's a little bit down here before I go into the dark colors again. Go ahead and add just a couple of little shadows for these guys. Nothing too fancy. Go ahead and shade that strand like that. I think it looks good. Okay. And this one just has the shadow for this little strand here, and then this big thick one. And I guess I'll go ahead and just add a little guy here, just to make it a little bit more interesting to look at. Okay, that seems pretty good. So now I gotta do the dark shadows. And that's all gonna be a bunch of cast shadows from the paint and from her head and the other bits of hair. And then just one right there. Okay, well, here goes nothing. So this one's following the head. So I guess I'll just go ahead and... pun not intended, but... I guess I'll claim it. Kinda push all this a little bit closer to her head. Right here is redder. Did you not... Oh, I didn't clip the blush to her head. Wait, what group are you in? Yeah, you are not in the right group. Okay, there we go. Somehow it got put in the eyes. Yeah, that could have been bad, but looks like we're all good, and I guess that explains why I picked the wrong color, or thought that, the colors there looked wrong. They might be wrong now, though, so I better double check that. Okay, well, that's one mystery solved. Are you the right color? Yes. Okay, good. Glad to hear it. Okay. So I'm gonna kind of smooth things out here for now. And then I'll go back through and kind of add some strands and make it look a little bit more like hair. But first, I just want to make sure that I have everything in the right place. There we go. Now I can add some strands. Some of these are probably just going to be little guys. I don't really want here to get too detailed. Well, no, you know what? This is right next to her eye. I can make this detailed. It's all good. I can make this detailed. This isn't like the last bit that I did over on that one random little bit of hair on the side of her head there. This is like right next to her face. This I don't mind if people look at, because it'll take them right to her eyes, and that's the kind of thing that I want. So this one can be a little bit detailed. I keep wanting to zoom in a little bit more, but no, 200% is enough. You do not need to get your lines looking any smoother. It's all good. It's all good, brain. If they look smooth here, you are perfect. Hello there, Art. How are you doing today? It's nice to see you again. I guess I'll let this one go all the way to the edge. It's fine. We can separate those. I wasn't intending to, but I think it's all good. Okay. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. So let's go ahead and get the dark shadows over here. Just to make the difference between the hair in the foreground and the hair in the background a little bit more clear. You think so, huh? I don't know. I don't think it looks really watercolor-esque or anything, but I am pretty happy with it overall. I think it's looking really good. This shadow is incorrect, so I need to clean it up and clear it. Cannot have bad shadow there. Alright. There we go. So these guys are fine. This guy's fine. And I think that right here is a little bit too much, so I'm gonna go ahead and put the light spot back. And there we go. I think I've cleared out all the bad ones. So now all that's left is the ones that need a little bit of shadow here. I just want a little bit extra. This technically does not make sense. But I still just want some clear definition and clear distinction between the hair in the foreground and the hair in the background. So I don't mind giving it a little bit of extra. Alright, let's go ahead and add the paint shadows here too. This one just goes all the way across. This one I actually think I have drawn fairly well. So I'll just go ahead and reuse what I have there and just make sure that it is all lined up properly. Alright, and I think all that should be in shadow. So now I get the paint here. This one is another one that just goes all the way across. Okay, we got another blob right here. This one kind of goes up like this. Just making sure to kind of keep my light source in mind, which is on her face. I do not think that this one is correct, though. Let me go ahead and pull this back a little. So yes, I'm assuming that the light is on her face. And so I am... like, her face isn't necessarily, like, radiating light or anything, but it is pointing right there. So I'm kind of using her face as my point of reference. And then I am just making sure that all these paint shadows are falling all in the right place. And then let's see, this guy, probably something like this. There we go. And then I just gotta go all the way around. Make sure I get all of the paint. And there's a lot of it. There's a lot of it. Once again, I just always draw a lot of things, and then I'm like, oh no. Now I have to shade it all. Now I have to make it all look good, and it's gonna take a while. Fortunately, I have a few areas here that are just gonna be, like, entirely in shadow, so it's not so bad. It's not so bad. Okay, and then from the brush here, I'll just go ahead and make that entirely shadow here, and I think that should do it. Yeah. Did I miss any? Let me double check. Okay, so there's all the shadows from the bangs, there's from the side of her head here, there's all that paint, right here, right there, got that one. Did not get this one. This is why we check. Got you, got you. Okay, only missed one. Not bad. Alright. Oops. Now I just go in and... I like to add just a few strands here and there to kind of blend it all in and make it look a little bit more hair-like. 'Cause I don't feel like these shadows necessarily fall just like 100% smoothly. Hair is textured after all, so I'd like to do something like this just to, I don't know, make it look a little nicer, I guess. I'm not actually sure if this is realistic. I'm not even sure if it makes sense. But I don't care. I think it looks nice, so I'm gonna keep doing it. Just adds a little bit more body to the hair, I think. Also means I don't have to be quite as precise on the location of the shadows themselves, which is nice. And everything will just look right. All right. So I guess I just go back through, do all this for a little while, and then it'll be time for highlights again. I say again because it feels like it hasn't been that long since I did highlights for her main bulk of hair. Wasn't it only like a stream or two ago that I finished the rest of her hair? Well, who knows? Regardless, it is time to make this part look super nice. Gonna get all those dark shadows in there. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good, so I'll keep it like that, and then... and kind of just add a couple more strokes there to make that look nice. Yeah. And now just a little bit here and there for my little blobs of shadow here. I'm just gonna cut into them and cut out of them here and there, and hopefully I'll have something that looks pretty nice by the time I'm done. Hello there, honey. How are you doing today? No, that's a bad angle. I want it to be more like this. I want it to follow the flow of her hair. Very important. Don't want to break up the flow of the hair. No, I guess that's good. Ah, sorry, did I mispronounce your name? I do my best. I am somewhat terrible with names. Alright. Well, right now I've just been rendering hair. I tend to be a little bit slow about it, but I do like the result. I've been very pleased with the hair on this drawing in particular. So, it just looks so fluffy. And it makes me happy to look at. Yes! Yes, I am indeed drawing that Iofi. I'll zoom out in a minute. Let me just kind of finish up some of the shadows here. Get all this looking the way that I want it to. But at some point I'm gonna have to go and like check everything and make sure it all looks the way that I want it to. But I was very happy that I could draw something nice and colorful for her. So right now I'm just kind of putting the finishing touches on hair here. I was putting in some cast shadows from the paint and her other layer of hair. And I just always like to kind of blend it in with the rest of the hair like this. I think it looks weird if I just leave them as kind of hard-edged because, I don't know, hair is hair-shaped. And there's generally signs of slight distortion, even with cast shadows on hair. And I am definitely exaggerating those kinds of distortions, but I think it looks nice. And I just think it makes everything look a little bit more hair-like. I think it looks good too. It's okay. Anime is all about exaggerating reality, so it's only natural that I keep doing it. In just every place. Every place I think it makes sense. Okay, and I think all that's good. Alright, I think this is the last corner, assuming I didn't miss anything. Does happen sometimes, but I think this is gonna be good here. No, I think I'm gonna put it here. Yeah, I like it a lot. I think it's been coming out really, really well. Just did some finagling with some of the more difficult parts today, so I think I have the hardest parts behind me. And so now I get to have fun and, like, just do her face and hair. Yeah, I like her. I too wish that I could speak as many languages as she does. Languages are cool, but I've never really been able to get fluent in them. Because I feel like for language fluency, you really have to, like, have actual people to talk to. And I tend to always get stuck at that point. Where it's like I try, I learn some stuff, but never actually go out and try to talk to people with it. Alright, there we go. I think that should be good. Yeah. There we go. I think that's looking pretty good. Is there anywhere that I really want to touch up? Did I miss a shadow over there? No, I don't think so. Alright. I think we're good. Which means it is time for some highlights. Let's go add some highlights here. And not even just pronunciation. Even if you're only writing. It's just, you know, how things are used, actually being able to formulate ideas in that language in your head. And things like that. Like, it requires a degree of communication. I think that's probably about the only highlight that part needs. I'll put little guy over here. Little guy right here. But otherwise, I think that's about it. So that's some nice, easy highlights for me. I guess I'll put a little guy right there, too. Oh, cool. I can keep this nice and simple. Nice. Your English is quite good. I have not had any trouble understanding you, so... I'd say you're doing quite well. What, nice and simple hair highlight? Yeah. I don't know, I think that the hair highlight here is pretty simple. Just draw a few end shapes and then... clean it up. Nice and simple. Look, just because some parts are complicated doesn't mean everything has to be. I don't like this one. I think I want it going the other way. Yes, that is much better. But most of this hair is like covered up in shadow, so I don't have to draw as many highlights as usual. Keeps things a little bit simpler. That's okay. In this case, I'm just talking about the highlights specifically. Everything else is a bit more complicated, but it's okay. There's not much going on with the highlights here. They're pretty simple. See, just little end shape, and that's it. In fact, I think that was the last one because I don't think I didn't put anywhere else. So there we go. Easy peasy. Now I just make it shiny. Make it shiny with a little bit of blur. Okay. And then I just want to clear out all the places that I put it in my shadows. Because I do not want all these bright shiny colors in my shadows. The shadows need to stay dark for proper contrast. So I'll go ahead and go back over and erase things there. Oh, nice. It's kind of light there, isn't it? Like, I think I had another Indonesian viewer for a while, but he started having a little bit more trouble staying up late enough. Alright. And there we go. I think that is some completed hair. Sure is. Okay. Let's go ahead and get her shoulders here, and I'll just keep working my way down from there. It'd be nice if I could just get her whole arm here done today. I did the upper part, but now I just need to, like, get her sleeve and stuff. Let's go ahead and grab the shoulder here. I think I have the shape of this okay. Maybe I should show her neck just a little bit more. There we go. But besides that, I do not think anything else has to change. Just gotta refine that edge a little bit. It was a little bit blobby, but now it's better. Now it's nice and smooth. The picture? No. The hair is. The entire picture, I still have a lot to do. I haven't, like, done anything with her lower body yet. I have it, like, all posed and stuff. But I still haven't cleaned it up. And then I still have to clean up all the paint in the background and stuff. And I have some lighting layers that I have to put in properly. They're all off right now because I need to be able to color pick and stuff like that. So there's still a lot to do. But her head is done. The head is done. Okay. So now I'm gonna go in and get the outline of her shirt here. Let's see. How am I gonna handle this sleeve? I think I currently have this too large. Let me check her character design here on her model. Yeah. Those are quite short. Nah. Not at all. But I mean, it's okay if I'm definitely not going to finish this stream, but once I finish this one, I'm just going to draw new things, so don't worry, there will always be plenty of stuff to see. Okay, so now I want to figure out how this wraps around her arm here. Why do I have you locked? Okay, so that's actually important now. So this little bit on the end here that I kind of have sketched out there looks like an elastic. So I want it to be pretty tight around her arm. Yeah, sure, I'll think about it. I haven't really watched her, so I don't know very much about her. But there will certainly be things to do. I will keep her in mind. Why not? Let's see. Yeah, this... I wanted to go back a little bit more. This is not curling around her arm properly. Ah, perspective. I love you. But why do you have to make things so hard? Why do you have to make things so hard on me? Okay, let's clean that up a little. I think I can just use the sleeve. Ah, I see. Well, it's okay. I know the feeling. If I had more time to stream, I probably would. But I don't, so... I just do like 3 hours every day. Okay, I need to pay attention to the shape of her shoulder here, too. Every day! Look, art is fun. I like to go through and draw stuff every day. It's totally good for my health. It's good to engage with your hobbies. Life is fun. Unironically. So I'll just come up and draw for the internet and have a good time. Because I like doing it. And I think I need no further justification. Okay. I'd say sleep was overrated, but it's really not, so... I if you're able to sleep well. But don't worry, I make sure I get plenty of sleep. I don't compromise on that, and I don't think that there's anything unhealthy about my habits. I just set around a specific amount of time to go make stuff. And there we go. 3 hours is actually pretty hard capped because I don't really have time for more. So there you go. Okay. And then that, like, poofs, her shirt, like, poofs out a little bit over here somewhere. But the foreshortening makes it really hard to see, so I'm gonna have to call that good. Okay, now I'm gonna define the very top of this. And so basically what I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna make it look like the top of the sleeve here is highlighted. So the part that we see from above. It looks like a fairly thick cloth. So I'm going to assume that that highlight will be a little bit thick. There we go. And then go like that. And then there's going to be a dark spot. There's going to be a dark spot rimming around there, and that's going to be the edge of the elastic. It's going to be very small because foreshortening does bizarre things to things. And I cannot say no to extreme perspective breaking my brain. But I think that that is correct. I'm going to keep it super thin, too. Okay. Zoom in a little here, and I will try get the shape right, and I am eternally grateful that most of this is under her hair. I just want to try to get as much of this right as I can. Try to get as much of this right as I can. So yes, we just have a bald Iofi for a little bit. Don't worry, it's fine. She'll get her hair back. But right now it's in the way. So I want to be able to try to draw this fairly accurately. And then the elastic here is fairly thick, so I will draw... Nope, that's not the right angle here. I need them to, like, sloping really deep upward. Yes, just like that. Okay, there we go. Touch up the top, and that should, in theory, do what I want. In theory. Yeah, I think that looks fine. Okay. Now, to try to actually connect this properly to our armpit, let's try to angle that a little bit more strongly. I think that's right. Look, I keep doing perspective stuff like this, and then I'm surprised when it's hard. But I figure someday I'll get used to it, and I'll be able to... I'll be able to do it no problem. Just gotta keep trying. And I always think it looks really cool, so I don't want to give it up. So just gotta keep trying. Okay. And then everything going down her side, I'm pretty sure is all correct, so I'll just make it a little bit lumpier than I normally do because the cloth on her shirt looks pretty thick. So I want this to kind of correspond with thick folds. Nice thick folds. I know I can do it too. I got this. It's something that I want to practice more explicitly off stream at some point. But right now my practice is, okay, I want to draw faster. So I am just drawing heads so that this way I can learn how to place facial features without having to flail at facial proportions. And if I can stop flailing at facial proportions, I will draw significantly more quickly. And it'll be great. I've already noticed a pretty significant increase in my speed. So let's see here. Guess I'll get the edge here as well. There we go. Now it's nice and clean. Okay, and let's see. Before I actually finish all the shading on the shirt, I want to get the overalls. So that, I guess, will be the next thing that I do. I think I'm reasonably satisfied with the armor. Is there any more seams or anything that I can use to help me out a little? Yeah, there is one kind of on the shoulder. So let's go turn off her hair again real quick. And I'll go try to put one last little seam kind of around her shoulder. Let's see. How does that hang off? So it's going to be on the edge. So her shoulder's like here. And it goes from her armpit around like that, I think. But I need it to be a lot straighter and, in fact, probably tilted the other direction. Just due to perspective shenanigans. I drew it myself from scratch. You can see that in the title that this is part 8. I have all the VODs of the other 8 parts archived if you want to see the process from the very beginning. I even have a playlist over on the channel. So you can see it from there. Alright, but I think I am about out of time for today, as much as I would love to immediately dig into those overalls. So I'll have to save those for next time, but I have at least gotten the nightmare hand out of the way. So I am free from worrying about the hand. So yeah, next time I can get into the overalls, and you know, I think I'm probably gonna finish off her body next time. That'll be pretty sweet. Yeah, I'd be surprised if I don't finish it, and then I can get into just all the various details. Oh yeah, that reminds me, I never actually painted the blue tips on her hair. I even reminded myself to do that today. I even reminded myself, but I still forgot. Well, that's okay. I'll do that next time. I'll do that next time. All right. And I do think that I will indeed stop there for today. And don't worry, I will never stop improving, and I will never stop drawing. I do not think that there's anything that could make me stop drawing at this point. So, thank you all for coming. And I hope you're able to make something wonderful today. I'll see you all tomorrow. It'll definitely be finished. I finished all of the stuff that I've done on stream so far. Even that thing that I made in Inochi 2D that took me the better part of a year to finish. Don't worry.